Hello, my name is Yeimy Guerrero Rodriguez, and this is my project defense. The name of my research paper is Music and Native Language Acquisition. And this is my table of content. The introduction, body, conclusions, and references. The methodology I used on my research paper was first I searched for academic information that could be useful for my topic. And then I made an annotated bibliography with the references that I chose. Then I made an outline to organize my ideas and the structure of my research paper. Then I started with my introduction, and to be honest, this was the most difficult part of my research paper because the introduction is the part that catched the attention of the reader, and because I hadn't clear what were my supporting details because there is not a great amount of information about this topic. Then I made my body paragraphs, and they were easier than the introduction because I already have a clear idea of my supporting details. Then I made the conclusions, and the easiest part of my research paper because I had already all the information, and I developed all the details about the topic, and then the references and the introduction. My thesis statement is the origins, abilities, and strategies that music provides in your language acquisition make it a great option to include in the planned lessons of educators. So in my introduction and with this thesis statement, I wanted to highlight the effects and benefits that the music has in your language acquisition. And my supporting details were the first one, music and language acquisition share agents. The second one, with music, the development of the early learning process is more accessible. And the third one, using specific strategies to use music in the language acquisition can produce what the educators want. And of my body paragraphs, I put these quotes here because I think they are the most important of my research paper and for the supporting details. The first supporting detail, music and language acquisition share origins. The quote is, Nathan concluded that musicality is a fundamental part of being human, that these capacities of great antiquity in a holistic pro-language of emotive musical expression predated language and was an essential precursor to it. Anthropological findings shows that humans used to use music as a form of communication, like ah. And yes, that was the music is a preserver of the language. And also, according to Descartes, sitting in Raven Cohen, the musical language share three essential components that are the physical sound, the sensory perception, and the effect of the music in the listener. Same as language, and with music, the people don't just hear the physical sound; they relate it with their emotions, their feelings, and related to the experience they had passed. And music produces changes of humor and behavior as the language produces. And like the people use the language to communicate their emotions or what they want to transmit. They also use the music to communicate that things too. And the second supporting detail with music, the development of the learning process is more accessible. Psychologists and investigators states that the musical intelligence is the first one to emerge. So this musical intelligence has an advantaged status of or a privileged status on our brains since we are fetuses. Why? Because these privileged status allow us to have a culture, a culture input, and allow us to recognize our native language. So, for example, nursery songs and the mom songs and words are the first things that the fetuses are exposed about language. And when the fetuses birth, they have the capacity to recognize these nursery songs or the mom words. So basically, without the ability to hear musically, we would be unable to learn a language, run, even, and sleep. Um, so we can say that while babies receive information through music, they initiate their speech. They initiate their speech. The babies, you can see when the babies hear a nursery song that the moms used to play it when they were fetuses, they can recognize it. And babies at the 6-month age, they can discriminate the differences or the phonemic contrast of the different languages around the world. So, for example, if you put a video with different people talking in different languages, for example, an American baby, this baby will recognize or will have an special interest in the English because it is their native, it is his native language. And the same could happen if you put 3 different videos of music with different languages. This baby will recognize or will have an interest on the song that is in English. And also, the music is processed in the same areas of our brains that language. This means that we use language and music to communicate deep and extensive messages, and that our neural resources receives the sounds, decipher the messages, or the intention, and also relate this with the previous input that we have in our minds or in our brains. And also the music represents an advantage in our brains because we can hold information for a longest time or for extended periods of time in our brains if this information is in a form of a song. And the third supporting detail, using specific strategies to use music in native language acquisition can produce what educators want. So this quote, both in West, affirm that numerous learning opportunities and widespread benefits exist for English language learners, and incorporation of music can tie key components of language acquisition together, resulting in outcomes covering of covering a range of the learning activity spectrum. Um, Through music, basically we develops academic skills that are necessary for our acquisition process. And the music not only helps with these academic skills, but also with our social skills. And the music provides an environment of creativity in a classroom that this environment of creativity helps the students to reinforce their sorry, I forgot the word, but basically the music or this environment of creativity helps the students to feel more motivated about their learning acquisition process. And for example, it is easier for the students to learn new vocabulary through a song or through the lyric of a song by just saying it saying it in a book or saying it in the board. For example, I remember that when I was in the school, it was easier for me to learn the months of the year in English with a song that says, these are the 12 months of the year. And the music was like January, February, March. And in that way, it was easier for me to learn the 12 months of the year. And also blending education with entertainment makes this learning process more enjoyable for the students, and this helps reinforce their approaches to learning. They makes them feel motivated. And for example, for students, it is more funnier to make a karaoke in the classrooms with lyrics, with subtitles, than just hear the teacher talking about this topic. The karaoke will help with the cognitive skills, with their vocabulary while they are having fun. So this is why including songs in the classrooms are a great idea to improve this learning process. So the conclusions, music is a necessity during early language acquisition. Without it, the process can be slower and less effective. So as I said before, and as I have learned, the music is a precursor of the language. So it is necessary because it helps a lot with the language acquisition. And the brain receives music as well as language. Thanks to it, babies exposed to music develop faster and easier the abilities needed for language acquisition. As I said before, the music has unprivileged status on our brains, and this helps with all the skills that we need. If our parents exposed us since we are fetuses to the music. And the implementation of songs in classes makes not only easier, but attractive the process of acquiring a language. Definitely, the implementation of songs makes the classes less stressful and motivates the students to learn more. I can say it because I have that experience. One of my teachers used to include songs in our classes, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy it, and it makes easier the process of acquiring a new language or a second language. And these are my references. These are the authors that I quote on my research paper. I made it in the APA format. And this is all. Thank you for watching.